Hello, children. Today, let us learn the third chapter in political science, human rights. In this chapter, you learn the meaning of human rights and its development, the Declaration of Human Rights and the Indian Constitution, ways of implementing human rights. The concept of human rights has developed along with growth of civilization. This is essential for the peaceful living, coexistence and development of human beings. Rights are the building blocks of democracy. Renowned political thinker H.J. Lusky declares that a nation can be identified through its human rights. Human rights enable everyone to lead a life of dignity. This ensures the development of better society. Hence, the UNO has declared the human rights and has said it is the duty of the state to protect the human rights. Now let us understand human rights, its meaning and development. Human rights are essential for every human being to lead a life of dignity. Human rights are conducive to universal development of human beings. The roots of human rights are traced to Athens and Sparta, the two cities of ancient Greeks. In the discussion of Plato, Aristotle, and Socrates on the relationship between the state and the individual, human rights are discussed. Magna Carta, or the Great Agreement, is the base of the English Constitution. During 1215 CE, the King John of England broke many ancient rules and traditions. People revolted against the king, pressing for their rights. As a result, the king entered into an agreement and signed Magna Carta. Due to this, the government's interference in the church came to an end. Citizens gained the rights to have private and ancestral property. The equality of all in front of law was asserted. Magna Carta is an important development in the process of modern democracy. John Locke presented the first systematic discussion on human beings' natural rights. According to him, the basic rights cannot be given to any individual. Every individual is born with the rights of living and freedom. This gave prominence to individual rights. The bloodless revolution of 1688 worked in support to this. And as a result in 1689, Bill of Rights was implemented. With this, human rights were given legislative guarantee for the first time. Revolutions took place in America and France due to the influence of John Locke, Rousseau, and Montesquieu. The American independence was declared in 1787. The list of human rights were declared on December 15, 1791 and included in the American Constitution as the first amendment to the American Constitution. The Human Rights Declaration in France in the year 1789 is an important milestone in the history of human rights. With this, the dictatorship of France was removed and the French Republic came into existence. This declaration assured equal rights to all with respect to freedom, equality, property, and security. The development of human rights is not restricted to any single geographical area and it is universal in appeal. The League of Nations that came into existence after the First World War had a separate directive on human rights. After the Second World War, in order to protect the human rights and with the efforts of Stalin, Roosevelt, and Churchill, the United Nations organizations came into existence. The preamble of UNO declares, "We, the people of the world, have decided to protect our future generation from the destruction of wars. War has driven us to sadness twice in our lifetime. Hence, the establishment of UNO is to prevent human rights violations in any part of the world. In order to achieve this, the UNO directed all its member countries to protect the human rights compulsorily on December 10, 1948. Human Rights and the Indian Constitution. The Declaration of Human Rights by the UNO is discussed in the Preamble and Fundamental Rights part of the Constitution. In Preamble, equality, fraternity, and freedom are discussed. This is discussed in the Part 3 of the Constitution from Articles 12 to 35 under Fundamental Rights. There were 7 fundamental rights in the original Constitution. Later, by the 44th Amendment of the Constitution in 1978, the right to property was taken out of the fundamental rights and included under Article 300A as the constitutional right. Hence, there are 6 fundamental rights now. Now let us understand the difference between fundamental rights and human rights. Human rights are universal in nature and are necessary for the holistic development of human beings. These uphold the dignity of human beings. Their violations are not protected by the court of laws. The fundamental rights are ensured by the Constitution. Their violations are addressed by the Supreme Court and High Courts. The fundamental rights are specific in nature and are protected by the constitutional law. Institutions of Human Rights Protection. The UNO held meeting with all the member states in 1966 and has directed all the member states to remain committed to the protection of human rights. An International Human Rights Commission is formed at the international level. As supportive to this, National Human Rights Commission and State Human Rights Commissions are framed at national and state levels. National Human Rights Commission is a constitutional body. It was established through legislation in the Parliament in 1993. It is a watchdog of human rights in the country. It is a multi-member body. It has a chairman and 4 members. The chairman should be the retired judge of the Supreme Court. The members should be either the current judges of the High Court or retired judges. And 2 members should have practical knowledge of human rights. The Commission also has 4 ex officio members. The chairman and the members are appointed by the President of India. Their tenure is for 5 years or till the attainment of 70 years of age, or whichever is earlier. They receive remuneration as fixed by the central government. The Commission has been mandated to function independently without prejudice and interference. As per the Human Rights Law 1993, the state human rights commissions are established at state levels. They take the human rights violation cases. The state commission has 1 chairman and 2 members. The chairman should be a retired judge from the High Court. The members should be either serving High Court judges or retired judges, or should have served at district courts for at least 7 years. They are appointed by the governor. The National Commission for Scheduled Castes and Tribes was bifurcated in the year 2003 by 89th Amendment to Article 338. National Commission for Scheduled Caste and National Commission for Scheduled Tribes were formed. The National Commission for Scheduled Caste has 1 chairman and 1 vice chairman and 3 members. They are appointed by the President of India. The Commission addresses the issue of atrocities on scheduled caste people and also identifies the violations of human rights against such people and provides relief to them. The Commission also provides needed information and statistics to the central government and state governments to plan various programs for the benefit of these people. The National Commission for Scheduled Tribes came into existence as per the 89th Amendment to the Constitution in the year 2003. The Commission has 1 chairman, 1 vice chairman, and 3 members. They are appointed by the President of India. Its functions are similar to that of National Commission for Scheduled Caste. This commission was founded in 1993. It has 1 chairman and 4 members. The commission protects the rights of backward classes. National Commission for Women. In order to protect the rights of the women, the National Commission for Women was formed under the law in 1990. The commission has one chairman and 5 members. It sensitizes the women on their constitutional rights. It also studies the status of women with respect to education, sociological, economical, and health. The National Commission for Minorities was formed in the year 1992 for the protection of minority people. The commission has one chairman, one vice chairman, and 5 members. 6 religious communities have been identified as minorities. They are Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, Buddhists, Parsis, and Jain. The Commission undertakes the study of minorities and takes necessary steps to protect the interest of these minority communities. Thank you.